Joy was only 18 when she fell in love with Kelvin. He was everything she thought she wanted, tall, charming, and full of sweet words. In their small town, he was known for his smooth-talking ways, but Joy had convinced herself that their love was special. At first, Kelvin treated her like a queen, always bringing small gifts and whispering promises of a future together. But when Joy discovered she was pregnant, everything changed. "Kelvin, I'm carrying your child," she said one evening, her heart pounding. Kelvin's face darkened. "What are you talking about? I'm pregnant," she repeated, hoping he would take her in his arms and assure her that everything would be okay. Instead, he stepped back, shaking his head. "That's not my problem, Joy. I'm too young for this. I can't be tied down with a child." Tears welled up in Joy's eyes. "But you said you loved me, love," he scoffed. "I was just having fun. You should have been more careful." With that, he walked away, leaving Joy shattered. Her parents, strict and deeply traditional, were furious when they found out. "You have brought shame upon this family," her father thundered. "If the man will not marry you, then you are no longer our daughter." Her mother simply turned away, silent but firm. That night, Joy packed a small bag and left the only home she had ever known. The months that followed were cruel. Joy moved to the city, struggling to survive. She took odd jobs, washing clothes, cleaning homes, anything to afford food and shelter. As her belly grew, so did her desperation. When the baby finally arrived, she gave birth in a tiny, damp room she rented in a slum. The labor was long and painful, and there was no one to hold her hand. When the midwife placed the newborn boy in her arms, Joy burst into tears. He was beautiful, small, warm, and innocent. But as she looked into his tiny face, a cold wave of reality washed over her. How would she take care of him? She could barely feed herself. For 3 days, she tried. But with no money for food and the baby crying endlessly, Joy felt like she was drowning. Then, one night, she made a decision that would haunt her forever. She wrapped the baby in a small cloth, placed him in a basket, and walked to a quiet street where a large dumpster stood. Her hands trembled as she set him down. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Please forgive me." Then she ran. She didn't look back. Years passed. Joy rebuilt herself, burying the past deep inside her. She worked hard, changed her environment, and even found love again. Daniel, the man who married her, was gentle and kind, giving her the stability she had never known. They had a daughter, Florence, and Joy poured all her love into her. Life was good, but in the quiet moments, guilt would creep in. She often wondered what had become of the child she abandoned. Had someone found him? Was he safe? Did he hate her? But Joy never spoke of it. It was a chapter of her life she had vowed never to open again. Florence grew into a bright, confident young woman. One day, she met a young man named Toby at university. Toby was kind, intelligent, and driven. He had been raised by loving adoptive parents but always wondered about his biological origins. He and Florence fell deeply in love, and soon, Florence decided to introduce him to her family. When Joy first saw Toby, something inside her stirred. His deep brown eyes, the dimple on his left cheek when he smiled, it all seemed hauntingly familiar. "Toby," she said, forcing a smile. "It's nice to meet you, you too, Mrs. Daniels," Toby said politely. As the evening went on, Joy couldn't shake the feeling that she had seen those features before. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, she sat up for hours, staring into the dark. Could it be? The next day, Joy started digging. She found out that Toby had been adopted as a baby, found abandoned near a dumpster. Her heart stopped. Everything matched. The time, the location, the painful secret she had buried was standing in her living room, smiling at her daughter. Joy couldn't breathe. She knew she had to tell them. But how? How do you tell your daughter that the man she loves is her own brother? The day of Florence and Toby's engagement dinner arrived. Joy could no longer keep silent. As the family gathered, she stood up, her hands shaking. "There's something I need to say," she announced, her voice barely above a whisper. All eyes turned to her. Joy turned to Toby. "I know who you are," she said. "I know where you came from." Toby frowned. "What do you mean?" Tears streamed down Joy's face. "You are my son." Silence filled the room. Florence gasped. "What? That's not possible." Joy looked at Toby, her voice breaking. "I abandoned you, Toby. 18 years ago, I was young, scared, and alone. I made the worst mistake of my life. I left you. And now, fate has brought you back." Toby stared at her in disbelief. His whole world shifted. The woman he had called Mrs. Daniels was his mother. And Florence. Florence was his sister. Florence clutched her chest. "This can't be happening." The engagement was over. Toby didn't speak to Joy for weeks. He was angry, confused, and lost. Florence cried for days, heartbroken not just for herself but for Toby. The love they had was real, but it could never be. Joy, racked with guilt, reached out to Toby. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness," she told him. "But I need you to know that I have never stopped regretting what I did." Toby remained silent, but over time, he began to understand. Joy was just a frightened girl back then. She had made a mistake, but she had also suffered. One day, Toby finally spoke. "You made the worst decision a mother could make," he said. "But I also gained a family that loved me." Maybe that was meant to be. Though Toby and Florence could never be together as lovers, they found peace in knowing they had gained something else, family. Joy and Toby slowly rebuilt their relationship, and for the first time in decades, Joy allowed herself to heal. The past could not be changed. But the future was still theirs to shape.